Dude, what time is it?
It's 4:19. Why?
Dude, what day is it?
It's Friday. Why?
Dude, you know what that means.
What? Oh yeah.
Wait for it. Wait for it. 3, 2, 1.
It's Friday at 4:20.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Friday at 4:20. I'm Mike Neighbors. This is Funny 820, and I hope you're strapped in for what's going to be a fun little ride. We've got a panel of local jokers, and they're going to take on some tough topics as we play a little game here on Funny 820. First, let's introduce the panel. Right off the top, we have local Hamilton comedy legend. Can I call you a legend?
Yeah, sure. All right.
How did you know I was talking about you? Patrick Coppolino is in the house. Patrick, great to have you, man.
Buongiorno.
He looked surprised.
He did a little because you thought I was talking about you.
I was like, hey,
Wait a minute. Yeah, he was looking at me, though.
Manolis Zontanos, another local Hamilton comedy legend, is in the house.
Yes.
How are you, man?
good. I'm great. I'm awake.
Can I call you Manny? I just
You
called
call me Manny. I get called everything,
do
so
you?
yeah.
Oh, well, I know. But some of it can be used on the radio.
Yes.
Some of it can't. Did you ever watch the TV show This Is Us?
No. What is that?
Okay, it's all right. Don't
Okay.
worry about it. I was just going to make a reference to the Manny, but no, you know what? It'll be lost on you who only has Netflix and chill.
By myself.
But he can't afford Netflix. So.
And joining us to round out our round table of local jokers, it is Jason Allen. Jason Allen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for being here, man. And you play around the Hamilton area?
Oh, yeah, all the time. I'm constantly at Hamilton Yuck Yucks or the Emerson, just running around, keeping busy around here.
Excellent. Jason Allen will take part in the game as we play along. And if you find him funny, please go out and see him. Even if you don't, right?
Yeah, either way, just come see me. Somebody needs to look at me.
Well, it is great to have you all assembled here in the room. It is Friday at 4:20, and so we're going to play a fun game. And it really is going to challenge your improv skills, or as you guys, I think, as stand-up comics like to say, you're working the audience skills, right? Because all random topics can come up. And that's what we have. We have with us the wheel of random topics.
I like that sound.
Can you? I don't know if it picks up. We may have to dub that sound in after. We can do that. This is the magic
I want
of
to take
radio.
the sign home. I could do this all day.
Could you do that?
Yeah, like a cat.
Listed on the wheel are the numbers 1 through 12. Sitting in front of me in official Bell Media envelopes are 12 random topics. Literally random. You guys don't know what they are. You've never seen them. I'm going to be the coach, the referee, the judge, and what we're going to do is get one comic to spin the wheel. You will get the topic first. And then you can start saying whatever you want in and around that topic. And then as soon as you start talking, the other comics can then try to knock you off the pedestal and steal your airtime. So that's how we're going to play the game. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Start. So who goes first?
Manolis is the oldest.
Yeah, he's got seniority.
Oh, Manolis Zontanos, spin that wheel.
It's just
you reach
because
it?
Yeah, I also don't want to do it.
it's because I can't read, so I have to spin.
We want to see him fail first.
Here we go.
Yeah, you don't have to read. There's just numbers.
I got number 8. How do you spell 8?
Number 8. Oh, that's actually an upside
Wait.
down.
Actually ask him, what's the first letter in the word 8?
I.
Wow. Topic number 8.
Number 8.
Yeah.
With an I.
We're gonna
With
get
an I.
It's a spelling topic, Manolis. Congratulations. You get to spell this word. No. All right, Manolis. We're going to give you the topic.
Okay.
We'll give you a couple of moments to compose yourself.
All
and then
right.
you can begin riffing on that topic. Okay, you ready?
All right.
The topic, or random topic number 8 is concerts.
Concerts.
We'll give you a moment to compose yourself. Time. Okay.
I went to Canada's Wonderland when I was 20. No, I was 19. I was 19 years old. I went to Canada's Wonderland to go see David Lee Roth.
This was like 40 years ago.
Yeah, it was like 100 years ago.
Nice.
And then me and my friends were like this, like we're taking roller coaster rides, or not taking them. We're going on roller coaster rides, and then we saw my friend. The opening act was Extreme, and then Cinderella.
That was a show.
Right? And I love those bands. So Jeff LaBar he was like by himself in line going on a ride on a roller coaster, right, during the day. And my friend goes, oh my, he's the guitarist from Cinderella. So
because nobody knows that.
I only know.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I knew, because I knew the band. I love Cinderella, but I'm not about the names. I don't remember his names. I know Dave Lee Roth, but like, so my friend goes, oh my God, is that Jeff LaBar from Cinderella? I'm like, I don't know. And so now we go in line, and then there's like 100 people behind us, and then I finally say to the guys, like, hey, because everybody's so shy, right? And my buddies are like, I go, hey man, are you Jeff LaBar from Cinderella? He goes, yeah. And it was all weird. So then halfway through, now we're stuck in line with Jeff LaBar for like an hour because it was, and then by the time we got up to the roller coaster, I realized I know all his work. So I started talking about him, all of the songs that I liked, that I knew that he'd be like, oh, you're a fan, right? So by the end of the ride, he's like, hey, you want to hang out? So we ended up hanging out with this dude all day to the point where me and him just became friends. And then he said, tell your friends to go to the show, come backstage with me, and I'll give you some backstage passes. So now I'm backstage with Jeff LaBar, and I'm like but I'm trying to use him because I'm really trying to get to Dave Lee Roth because he's my hero.
That's a good story, man.
Yeah.
And that's how he met my mother.
I don't know if your mother's David Lee Roth. Is that
Jeff LaBar.
Jeff LaBar.
Jeff LaBar. You know what's weird about him knowing the whole name Jeff LaBar?
I never forgot it, man.
He's the worst at knowing like people's full names. And we have this friend. His name's Dave Tellisfin. And I met him like 10 years after he's known him. And one day he came up and we were like, oh, like I'm like, did you talk to Dave? He's like, Dave who? I'm like, Dave Tellisfin. He's like, who's that? I'm like, Dave, like the guy that works at the airport. And he goes, why didn't you say Airport Dave? And in his phone, he's in it as Airport Dave. He's known him for like 20 years.
That's beautiful.
He's Airport Dave.
But he knows Jeff LaBar.
but Jeff LaBar and him are tight, man. Did you get to see David Lee Roth?
Yeah, I got to see him, and then like,
did you get to meet him backstage?
Well, I tried to. There was all this security around him, and I saw him like he was just getting ready to go on stage, and I'm standing there in awe, like my jaws dropped down. I'm like, oh my God, it's like David Lee Roth. And then I just started trying to walk towards him, and the security guards are like, hey, like I'm like, oh, and I backed off, and then he stopped and looked straight at me. And he was seeing my face like, oh, my God. And he kind of smirked and just walked away. Like, he kind of snubbed me.
So you made friends with Jeff LaBar, but really in order to try to get to David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
But out of that came a long friendship with Jeff LaBar, right? You guys are still in touch?
I've never talked to him since.
I was hoping for a nice...
I think he would remember me if I met him again, but...
Put a bow on that story. Are you a big David Lee Roth fan or not?
My dad looks just like him, oddly enough. So there is that.
You don't need to meet David Lee Roth. You've got your dad.
I was wondering how confused Patrick was by all of this, because Patrick's like 25 years younger than Manolis. So he's like, who are these names? What's going on?
No, as I'm saying, I was the most impressed by him knowing Jeff LaBar's
all
full
these names, right? I know. Manolis called me Aaron the first 2 years he knew me.
Aaron.
Because I have the same last name as this guy, Aaron.
Patrick's wondering why he didn't want to meet Sammy Hagar. He just doesn't understand.
That's
really the Van Halen that we all know and love.
If Alex knew Van Halen.
I still don't know what's going on.
All right, that's
Hagar,
a very good story.
Years.
That was a great kickoff to our little game. We are going to spin the wheel again, ladies and gentlemen. We're into another random topic. How about we let you spin the wheel?
Sounds good. Yeah, give it a go.
And give it a go.
Right,
and we won't make you spell the number like we did Manolis.
Manolis is...
No, let's see.
I'll nail it. I'm not worried.
Can we make the spelling?
Can we make Manolis smell all the...
He got the hardest one. 8's the tricky one. Oh, number one.
Topic
Here we go.
number one.
He thinks it starts... I guarantee you, he thinks it starts...
One.
He thinks one starts with a W. I guarantee it.
Wait.
One.
Hashtag and then number, like the hashtag number sign, and then
the
one.
One. That's
One
it.
with the W, dude. I won the concert. I won the spinning game. That's the problem.
Okay.
All right. Topic number one. By the way, I forgot to mention that among the 12 topics, there is, just because you're all stand-up comics by trade, there is a cliche stand-up comedian topic. among the
airline food. Is it?
He guessed the cliche topic. That's a point for Patrick Coppolino.
I got nothing on airline. I hope I don't get it.
Yeah, well, you better start thinking, boys. That's going to come up.
We drive the shows. We're not big comedians.
Not big on the airlines. Jason Allen, your topic is the TV remote.
The TV
The
remote.
TV remote. A story about the TV remote, comments, concerns, anything you have to say about a TV remote.
I grew up poor, so if we didn't have the remote, we had a TV, but we didn't always have the remote. I remember I was born in 1985, and I was one of the only kids who still had the dial.
The dial.
That my mom and dad would still
That's how I learned to count.
No, you didn't learn to count.
You didn't learn to count. What are you talking about?
Up to 13.
Up to 13 channels you get. You're nailed it. That's it.
So we've touched on. We are on to another topic here that Patrick knows nothing of, which is the dial TV.
Again, yeah.
That's true.
Nowadays, you just watch TV on your phone. It's perfect. Everybody has their own remote. You know what I mean? It's not fighting over it anymore.
Do you remember that after 13 there was a U, a dot, and a C, or there would be weird number letters?
Yeah, which I never know what those led to because they didn't.
Because the U was UHF, right? Which is a different frequency.
There was actual
Yeah, I know.
Jedi on me.
What?
Yeah, he was just learning the letters.
I went I thought numbers went from 2. My TV went 2 to 13. Then there was a U dot and a V or something.
Yeah,
right.
You didn't even get a
Right.
one channel. You didn't get number
there's no
one.
one.
There was no
one.
0 or
It was
1.
there.
Which is ironic that it was topic number 1.
Number one, and you don't get a one channel.
Now, of course, we're on channels. I was talking about TV remotes.
Yeah.
That goes down between the cushions, that you have to steal the batteries out of the smoke detector to put in the TV remote so you can make it work.
You really had to hate the show because when it was before remotes, you I don't feel like going up to the TV and change.
Yeah, if you're sunken into the couch, you've already eaten. You gotta hate this
you
show.
were just stuck there, right?
And the other thing was, as a kid, my dad picked everything because my brother and I just wanted to
Right.
watch wrestling, and my dad's
No.
he's an old man. He's over wrestling. He's like, this is fake. I'm not into this at all. You know what I mean? So getting the remote out of my dad's hand once we finally had a remote, that was the win. When he'd go to nap after work or something like that, my brother and I are brawling in the living room to try to get this remote off one another to find out what we want to
That'd be
watch.
the wrestling match right there.
That's exactly. We're doing wrestling in the living room to fight over what we want to watch.
I grew up at the same time as you. We had the TV channel, right? And my dad, so, you'd be a flipper, right? With a TV remote, you're flipping back and forth between 2 channels. Guys tend to do that more than women, and you're back and forth. My dad was a flipper, but with a channel, and he would zip through them. So he'd go, 7, and then he'd watch the hockey game for a minute, back to 2, and he'd watch the basketball game.
He didn't care about anything in between.
No, he would skip the channels in between. It was back and forth until he wore the dial out. He just wore the damn thing out.
That was my dad too, just following every sport. So it was just as soon as something went to commercial, he's like, "Okay, let's find out what the Jays are doing now. Let's find out what the Leafs are back at."
Sport of wrestling.
Except for wrestling, which we were like, these guys are the real athletes. They're bigger than any baseball player we've ever seen.
Your dad thought the TV was like a time machine.
He'd ruin it for us too. I remember one time a guy had another guy pinned, and the ref's doing the count, and it's slow. And my dad's like, 1, 2, 3. Look, he's out. And we're like, no, you count too fast.
He
was
called
at
it on
2.
you.
He was at 2. He's like, no, this whole thing's a crock.
You thought wrestling was
Oh,
real?
we thought it was all real. And then he'd be shooting holes through the storylines on us. And we're like, shut up, man.
You're ruining
Shut up.
wrestling.
We're into this. I'm 10. I don't need to hear this right now.
Does anyone in the room still follow wrestling? Does anyone? Patrick,
I
I'm
never
looking at
did.
you.
I never did.
You never did? You were never a wrestling fan?
I think I just missed it.
Oh, okay. Because there's a huge legion of fans who love wrestling still to this day.
I used to watch when I was a kid, and I did believe it was real back then too. I remember Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Remember that guy?
I know all of them.
He upset me one day because he was it was a wrestling match, and then this is before it became bigger than it was, in the sense of acting out things and whatever. And all of a sudden, he's fighting some guy. The guy spit on him 3 times. He did nothing about it. And the guy was outside the ring, and Superfly jumped over the ropes into him. Like hardcore.
And you're, like, freaking out.
You're like, oh my God, I think that guy's
real.
dead.
Patrick is the only one who has not yet touched the wheel. Apparently, he has an issue. Manolis has touched the wheel. He doesn't want to touch it now. I don't know where that comes from. But Patrick, we're going to get you to spin the wheel. Don't stretch your headphones too far. There we go. Let's see what Patrick's random topic is.
10.
Number 10.
Manolis.
Again, what's
Spell
it start with?
Spell it.
What's it start with?
10.
TENN.
Yeah.
No! You ruined it at the very end.
Do you actually think there's 2 N's?
Tell him about. Remember, it was like.
Do you actually think there's 2 N's?
Yeah. Remember. Tell him about the word month or egg. No.
Oh yeah.
Was it month?
One time he called. Like, this wasn't even worthy of a text. He called me and was like, I go hello. He goes, Patrick, how do you spell month? I'm like, month? He goes, yeah. I go, MONTH. And he goes, I can tell that he's like spelling it.
He's
and he goes, wait a minute. How do you spell mouth then?
Because the U is backwards.
Yeah.
So if you put the U backwards and put the little line, it's an N. So one's a month and one's a mouth. So now which one's which, man?
Dude, you have blown my mind.
Are you sure Jimmy Fly Snuka didn't jump and land on you at some point in your life?
I felt like it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the product of the Hamilton Public Education System.
Yeah. You know what's funny? After I met him, and then, he's quite older than I am, and I... and then later I learned that he was like a special ed student and stuff like that, and then I had this moment of like, I never thought, what happened to those kids? This.
Yeah,
Manolis.
Kids in special ed. I'm right here.
Represent.
Yeah.
There he is. He's a professional stand-up comic and a very successful one.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Good for you.
Because I don't have to write all those words that I say. That's why.
What? When you do write out your comedy, though, you write. I mean, you'd obviously write things down. It must be spelling that only you can understand.
Yeah.
Do you have your book? Do you have your book?
Tell him the story about
Stan Thompson.
Yeah, is that the one where you visited him in
Yeah,
the
in the
hospital?
hospital.
You guys tell it. You guys tell it. Or
So
you-
I said his name already.
who?
Stan.
What about it? It doesn't matter.
Okay.
You know, this story. It doesn't matter. It's Stan Thompson. Why? It's
Okay.
Well,
So
that's
this
the big reveal
comedian.
at the end of the
No,
story.
it's not. It's not. No. So this comedian, awesome, hilarious dude. He's been around for a long time. Is he from Calgary or from Hamilton? Lived in
I think
Calgary.
he's originally from Hamilton, but he lives in Calgary.
Okay, and he so years ago he got in this altercation where he ended up getting his throat slit,
Oh, wow.
and he ended up in a hospital. And Manolis is very good friends with him, so he went to go visit him at the hospital. And it's a very long story short, but he's in the hospital. He's visiting him. This very book where Manolis keeps his jokes. He's visiting him, and so he leaves for something. He leaves to go get some lunch or whatever, and then when he comes back, Stan's brother is there, and he's crying by the bedside, and he's holding the book, and Stan wakes up, and he's like, what's wrong?
Yeah.
What's wrong? And he goes, oh my God. He's like, I thought you had a stroke, blah, blah. He's like, I've been reading your diary. None of this makes sense.
He's like, oh my God. He goes, you have brain damage.
Yeah, you have brain damage. And then Manolis comes in and goes, hey, dudes, I forgot my joke book. But look. Show him it's like hieroglyphs.
He doesn't want to reveal any jokes he hasn't used in the show yet. Look
Just
at this.
imagine you found that book and you opened it to that page.
Wow. Well, so this is like a lineup of topics that you would.
Yeah, this name. Some of them are names of jokes,
Yeah.
and you go through. There's some written out ones.
Yeah. Also, acknowledge the spelling.
Try to read some of those words.
My favorite one that I've come across on just this page
I don't even know what.
is maxi pads. So, yeah, first you're going why would he write maxi pads down? But obviously you had something funny you wanted to say about maxi pads, but you spelled it MAXY pads.
I, Manolis. It's an I.
Is there,
MAXI pads.
I didn't know that. I
Well,
honestly. No, see, nothing in that book is wrong to me.
If we get anything out of this show, you're going to learn a few things. You're going to go maxi with an I from now on.
Unicorns
There's no way he spelled that
God.
right.
UNACO.
Unicorns. Yeah. Here's the thing. He spells phonetically.
Unicorns. He didn't even drop the N in there. You were like, all right. Close enough. Yeah, the horse with the pointy head. I got it. We appreciate that.
Manolis and I worked together too, and one time he was very nice and left pop in the fridge for everybody, and he left a note saying, and he's like, I'm worried I might have spelled it wrong.
Oh, did he
And
leave the
did.
Pope in the fridge for you guys?
He nailed pop, but it was pop in the freg. Pop in the freg. No D in fridge
Pop in the
anymore.
frag
That
for
can
you
get
guys.
out of here. There's some pop in the freg.
Some pop in the fry.
Did you find the pop?
I found the pop.
Just
The arrow was helpful.
Just so everybody's clear, Manolis is laughing with us.
He's not in the corner crying. Happy International Teachers Day, by the way, everybody.
Is it really?
Yeah, your work's really paid off
That's
with
fantastic.
our buddy.
All right. You're listening to Friday at 420. We're with our panel of local jokers as we go through our random topics this afternoon.
Well, thank you so much for checking in with Funny 820 on this Friday afternoon. I'm Mike Neighbors, the ambassador of Funny, and we're having a little fun here on Friday at 420, a brand new show where we feature local comics doing what they do best, trying their darndest to make you laugh. So let's keep the game going.
I think Patrick has driven us down this road long enough because he's been avoiding his topic. So, yes, putting it off as long as possible. All right, let's get to it. Patrick Coppolino, your random topic is, and I don't even know if you've had one yet, first car.
I have had.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Took a random shot there, brother.
I've had
but
3
still.
cars.
3 cars.
Yeah, I lost my
Were any of
license.
them yours?
But my first car was a Mazda 626 Kronos.
Oh.
And here's the thing, it was metallic blue when I bought it. But apparently after I bought it, it was purple because that's what everyone else
They all
said
saw
to me.
purple?
Yeah. But it was destroyed. By the time it was done, it was
you had
you know,
a
you
good
get
run.
your first car, you get all those fender benders and
All those
was-
DUIs, like all that
All
stuff.
that- yeah,
it just
DUIs,
happens. Yeah.
all that first car stuff.
That comes in the glove box.
Yeah, that's odd. It was a Mazda.
626 Kronos. I had never heard of it until I bought it.
Yeah,
'cause
I don't know. I
It
don't
was like
recognize
on my
them.
neighbor across where I lived. It was on his lawn. He was selling it.
So you
I was
picked it
just
up.
one of those like anxious kids who just wanted a car. So like I convinced my parents that's the one I wanted, and they helped me buy it.
What was it? What did it get you in trouble though? Did you get in trouble in the car? Did you?
Well, I got in a few accidents.
Did you? Yeah.
But, yeah.
it's bumper car, right? I mean, you're learning to drive.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
happens to everybody.
Yeah, it was like because right after you get your license, you can buy a car. So
And I know, and then you got to figure out how
Yeah.
to park it in a tight spot. You're like, going, I don't know how. Nobody showed me how to do that.
yeah.
Do you drive, Manolis?
Believe it or not, I do.
Okay.
I got a story about my first car.
Okay, well, you jump in any time, brother. Yeah.
My first car, I forget, it was a Dodge. That's all I remember. It was.
And if the story's not funny, you're going to have to spell Coronas.
I'll spell it no matter what, dude. I was in high school. I was in grade 12, I believe, and the car burnt oil. So like I basically was going through like about every like once or twice a month or a week. I'm sorry, I had to put like pretty well a quart of oil in this engine. It was burning oil.
Yes.
So I was like, I was broke and in high school, and I remember there was this 7-Eleven it's not even there anymore. I parked my car like a block away from it. I snuck up beside the 7-Eleven. I put my hood on, and I ran up to the gas pumps and stole 12 quarts of oil.
Wait, did you notice that he didn't? He stole.
He stole it. My car was stolen, so I stole some oil.
12 quarts, which would
That
have
was a
got
whole
you through the
case.
week, right?
Oh, it got me through a couple months,
Oh,
right?
okay, so you were laughing.
I needed like 2 a week, so I'm like, this is just makes sense. I'll just steal
Sure.
these 12 quarts of oil. And then I ran and I threw it in the trunk. My friend was waiting and the car was running, and we drove away. And this is the best part. So I got away with it. The next day, I didn't wait long enough for my engine to warm up because it was winter. The next day, my engine seized.
Oh.
Yeah. So the universe was like, no, dude.
No, dude. You're not using this stolen oil. You are out of luck.
So now I just had I had no car and 12 quarts of oil.
Was this before or after you had a motorcycle? You had a motorcycle, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a motorcycle. It was before the motorcycle, yeah. I had a motorcycle too.
Yeah. That's just funny. I can't picture you riding a motorcycle.
I had a Yamaha Virago.
He also rides a unicycle.
Yeah. My
Wow,
dad.
you have been all
There's
over.
video. He's like really good at it.
Really
Yeah.
good at unicycle riding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on
Dan for Mayor.
Dan for Mayor.
You know,
'Cause I
that
can
it,
ri-
it
so
was
I-
a spin-off of
Corner Gas.
Okay.
The episode is actually named after me. It's called Wheelo the Clown. So Dan
Were you
from
dressed as a clown?
yeah, they dressed me as I literally like I
come on.
this is my life. I'm like a comedian. Like it's like let's just dress him up like a clown. Put him on a unicycle. That's what happened, you know? But
Did you learn to ride a unicycle for that?
No,
Or-
he got the
already had
gig because he was probably the only guy in Hamilton that knows how to ride a
they needed
unicycle.
someone background work. They needed someone that could ride a unicycle.
So we put it in his special talents. Under his notes, he wrote, can ride a unicycle.
And they couldn't read it, but they guessed it was unicycle.
so I
He can ride a unicorn. Okay. Put him on the show.
so I show up.
That's awesome.
I showed up and I was in Kitchener. They're filming, and I brought my unicycle. Obviously, I have
Sure.
right.
You
And-
wrote it there.
Yeah, dude, I learned how to write this. My dad bought me this thing. I mentioned jokingly that I wanted one when I was 12, and my dad just bought me one for Christmas. And so I figured I tried, and
Yeah.
I learned it. So I was just that weirdo kid because every once in a while, because you couldn't write it all the time because it actually hurt your balls after a while.
You know what? I would have guessed it would.
Yeah.
You hit a bump or something. That's
if
the
you
only
see-
thing you're resting
If you
on.
see me naked, I have flat balls.
Oh, you see, now you took the story too far.
Okay,
Way
so
to go, Manolis.
So I'm going. So I show up to Dan for Mayor, and the director or whoever comes up to me. He's like, he goes, "You the unicycle guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." Is that it right there? I'm like, "Yeah." So you can ride this thing? I'm like, what do you think? You think
You just brought it.
you think I'm just here to figure it out now?
that is awesome. I wanted a unicycle when I was a kid. I thought it looked like the coolest thing in the world, right? To be able to ride a unicycle is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody else thinks it's cool, but you in your head you think I
But you
will be.
thought
I
it
will
was
be
cool,
cool.
or you still think it's cool?
I just.
It's cool because I'm so.
It looks to me like you would look cool,
Yeah.
but you don't look cool riding a unicycle. But it looks like people would go, "Oh my God, you can ride a unicycle!" Like that's impressive.
Yeah.
I'm so lacking in so many other things in my life, and like with just like brain function stuff, right? And but I can
But he can ride a unicycle.
I can ride this unicycle. I could probably hang out with
He
those
can't
guys.
spell 10, but he can ride a unicycle.
How much did it cost? Like, how many hooked on phonics tapes could you have bought if you didn't splurge on the unicycle?
I just got a picture in my head of Manolis dressed as a clown riding his unicycle into the sunset with 12 quarts of oil.
That would have been perfect if I would have done that.
I've never owned a car.
Oh, there you go.
All right, we're done.
When I was 15, I stole my mom's Ford Tempo, this garbage car. I decided to take it out for a joyride with my buddy Rob. And this car was so bad, we got it out of the driveway. I'm figuring it out, driving, and it breaks down a block away from my mom's house.
Get away from the house.
I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to get back in the driveway? She's going to wake up.
So what happened?
I can't move it. I had to tell her.
So you got
How did
caught.
the car get out
So
of the
not
road?
only did I wake her up, but I was like, I tried to get away with your car.
beautiful,
It
man.
stuck.
Have some gas money.
Yeah.
This is it's comics sharing stories, having fun, and basically purging themselves of all the illegal things they did, which is great. Patrick's the only one who hasn't come clean on the illegal. But
It's
we'll
at
get
the
there.
DUI.
Oh, the DUI! Yes, excellent. We had everything going on. You stole oil. You stole your mom's car.
I ran the border once.
Oh, yeah, he did. That's
I don't know if we can talk about that actually.
Probably not.
Okay.
How did you? What do you mean ran the border? You opened it up now, buddy.
Okay. Well, okay. So I was like on my way to Niagara Falls, right, to do a guest spot, and I was really tired.
guest spot?
I was going there for just a guest spot, man.
Okay, that makes the story even crazier now.
Like I was just going there to do a guest spot. It was like
You weren't even getting paid.
I wasn't even getting paid. I was just it was
So a guest spot in stand-up comedy is a night where you go and just
Yeah,
give your time.
you go up and do like 5 off the top.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just
Yeah.
to get that thing
I've
going.
heard this story. I honestly, this is the first time I realized it was
Yeah, I wasn't even getting paid. I was just like tired. I was working all day. I was not like, I don't think I was a professional comic yet, and I was just like trying to get stage time. And I think Angelo Zarukis and Frank Spadone and Tom Stade were on the show. So pretty cool lineup, right?
Yeah.
Awesome dudes. And then on the way there, instead of going Fort Erie way, where
Right.
you're supposed to get off, I think, McLeod, I went to I took the Lewiston. Okay.
Yeah, Lewiston
So
Bridge.
I'm on Lewiston. I didn't see that I got on Lewiston. I just was so tired. And I'm like, where's McLeod Road? Where's McLeod? And I realized, oh man, I think I did something wrong. So I'm going to take the next turn off. And I realized there was no more turnoffs. So it's just all of a sudden like there's signs like, oh, well, two
You're
more
going into the US.
Stay at US. I'm like, I get to like the duty free shop, and I'm driving around the little parking lot, figuring if I can go back from there.
Get a turnaround on the duty free,
right?
yeah.
But no, obviously. And then I'm like, oh, now I have to like do a U. I have to blend into the cars coming back.
Blend.
Right, but like I'm doing a Yui basically. You're allowed to do a Yui on the. You're not allowed to, but you can do a Yui on the bridge. There's no point in me going to the States and telling them I tell the Canadian board. But I've been in this. Weirdly enough, I've been in this situation before.
I have experience.
When I told them the truth, they just told me to pull over. I said I got lost, and they're like, "Well, pull over. We're going to check you out." So I had that in my brain, and then I realized at the same time I had some drugs in my car.
Okay.
I'll just say that.
It belonged to somebody else. Sure.
And then I was like, "Oh no!" It hit me right there. I'm like,
So now you know you can't confront the border and try to explain the situation because you've already been, it's happened before. You've been investigated just to make sure you were telling the truth. And so now you have potentially a jail term coming. So you don't want to.
Yeah, everything's the worst. It's turned into the worst day of my life instantly.
So what'd you do?
So I go up and she's like, "How long you been over?" And I go,
"How old am I?"
Seconds.
So I'm like, I don't want to tell the truth, right? So I just go, I go a couple hours. I say,
Why? Why wouldn't you just tell her I accidentally crossed?
I got turned around.
because I
Couple
already been
hours.
through the situation and they made me pull over. So I'm like, if I tell them the truth, they're just gonna make me pull over. That's what I'm thinking.
That's right. Well,
I'm
you
like-
had precedents to
Yeah.
believe that this was not going to go well unless you come up with a better story.
You thought you'd go in the States, drive a bit, turn around, come back.
No, yeah, obviously it was a horrible lie.
Yeah, you didn't think that far ahead. You're just...
No, it's like a couple hours. Dude, I look green at this point. I'm like
bet.
freaking out. And then she says, "What were you doing over there?" And I swear to God, I said this. I go, "I had to see a
not selling
buddy."
drugs.
No, I said I had to see a buddy.
Which just sounds like I'm selling drugs.
sounds
That's
terrible.
I had to see a buddy.
Creative.
That's such a drug thing to say.
Stand-up comic could not come up with a better excuse.
I had to see a buddy.
About
So-
the drugs that was selling.
So what did she say?
She goes, "Open your trunk." Like we're not even. Dude, I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody, but it's like I haven't even pulled over yet.
She wanted you to open the trunk right
I
there.
did. I opened the trunk right there. God bless my life that I had so much literally junk in the trunk.
She did not want to go through it.
No, it was like because I had the stuff in the spare tire. So I knew. I swear to God that she wouldn't be able to lift. There was too much stuff in there that she wouldn't be able to lift the flap to see underneath the spare tire.
Right.
So I was still okay, kind of like.
You
and
thought, okay.
She gives me a piece of yellow paper. And she goes, "Pull over there." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Holy cow, this is not good."
Now she's going to call in reinforcements to clean out the trunk.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm like, as I'm driving right to where you're supposed to park, I'm looking in my rear view and I see the next car go into her spot. And as soon as that happens, I just turn left and I floor it. And I
you
go.
just took off.
I just left. I figured, like, you know what? Maybe I should just leave.
Back into Canada.
Pull over here. Or turn around and drive back to Canada.
So then I threw I made it back to Yuck Yucks. I drove so fast, dude. Like I'm going past cars shoo, 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 shoo. I went so fast. It was a Honda Civic, a 93 Honda Civic. This is 2 weeks after September 11th too.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so like
What?
I just,
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm running the border. Hi, everybody's like high alert.
We found him.
Yeah, they're not thinking the guy who ran the border is also the guy responsible for 9/11.
But they're definitely thinking like it's not like they're people are wound up. You know what I mean?
They are wound up. And you were overseeing a buddy.
Yeah, and I make it back to Yuck Yucks. I get rid of the stuff. I put it in the. I literally like just the movies. I put in the ceiling in the washroom or like those ceilings that you can lift up.
Yeah, drop ceiling.
Yeah, a drop ceiling. I just put it there, and then
that doesn't mean that's not what they're for. You're not supposed to drop stuff there. That's not what that's called that for.
So I say I grabbed the manager at the time, and Tom stayed, and I said I just told him what I just told you guys. Like, I'm freaking out, right? I'm like,
sure.
What do I do now? I tell him exactly, and then one guy says, why would you do that? I'm like, dude.
Pretty much what the room's saying here, pal.
That's been done. What do I do?
Yeah.
Too late for it.
Yeah,
Like,
too late to think about
I'm
it.
not like your dad's TV. It's not a time machine. I'm like, what do we do? I'm not going back. So he goes, just call them and say you had just had a joint. I'm like, no, that's no. So the manager calls and says, my comedian was going to be late for the show and he was worried about getting fired. So he just apparently left the border. So I'm supposed to call, just playing dumb.
Okay.
And they go like this, Manolis Zontanos.
Oh, they knew who you were already. Yeah.
Blue Honda Civic.
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, we have an APP on that guy.
Dude.
Like I'm wanted like everywhere, right? And so they show 3 cop cars show up, and I spin my story saying like I was going to get fired. I started making one guy laugh. He was cool about it, and this one girl cop was like being mean to me. I thought I was an idiot, which she wasn't wrong, and then like so I go back. Now I have to go back to the border, but I'm going back to the border now with like I'm following the cop to the border, but like. Now this cop's become my buddy, kind of. Like I'm like, dude, because I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to jail or not. I know nothing, right? Yeah. I'm not a lawyer.
But at the very least, you've gotten rid of the package. It's still back in the drop
There's no
ceiling.
drugs on me.
Okay.
No drugs on me.
Well, you knew you were better off than you were before.
Yes. And then he says, he talks to the guy in front of me. I'm just sitting there. And he's like, I say to the cop, we're walking up to the office. He goes, whatever you do. I'm saying this to the cop. And I'm like, dude, whatever you do, don't leave me. Promise me.
Stay with me, please.
I probably go, promise me you're not going to leave me, man. Promise me. I'm talking to him like he's my friend at this point. And he goes, all right, I promise.
Right.
He goes, relax. I'm like, okay. And he talks to the guy. I'm like, I checked out his story. It seems like he's not lying. In all honesty, I think this guy's just an idiot, dude. And they checked my car, and I got a $200 fine. There's a $200.
That was it.
Yeah, $200 for running the border. That's why, because I called. If I didn't call, I don't think it would have been worse.
So funny. Didn't you cross another time and a guy pulled up your file and was like, wait, you ran the border?
That happened at the airport.
Blown away?
Then he got in like a white Bronco. It was the whole thing. We don't want to
For years, I'd always get pulled over.
Everybody knows about it.
Yeah.
That happened at the airport. Dude, that's a totally different story.
It was like, I got pulled over because they wanted to check me for whatever reason, probably because I was marked.
Your name's on the list.
Yeah. So a guy, he's like, typing, and he just goes looks at the screen, and he looks right at me. He was like, you ran the border? I'm like, I guess I am in the system.
Yeah.
Manolis Zontanos running the border. That is, guys, we're out of time.
That's
I
it.
know Patrick really wanted to spin the damn wheel again. We'll have to wait till next Friday at 4:20. You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Patrick Coppolino, Manolis Zontanos, and
Jason Allen.
Jason Allen. And what's your story, Jason Allen?
It's not Aaron? It's not Aaron?
Jason, stand-up comic. You play around the area?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm at Hamilton Yucks pretty regularly. I just got back from a little tour out in Montreal, so that was super fun.
Excellent.
I'm going up north this summer for a few dates too. June 20.
Vacation.
Yeah, just cottage country, you know.
Have you been invited, or are you just going?
I'm just crashing. I'm invading. I'm just
Hopefully
invading.
places. Jason Allen, thank you so much for being part of our show. We
yeah.
appreciate you
Thanks for
dropping in
having
and
us.
having some fun with us, man. That was awesome. And if Manolis isn't taken away by the border police before next week, we'll play another game of Friday at 4:20. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. You're listening to Funny 820.
what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.